So I just want to I'm just going to start off with, tell me a little bit about Christopher. Like, what made Christopher Christopher?
What made Christopher Christopher? Well, he loved, like I said, to dance. So for Christopher, for us, it was like Chris Brown. And it was funny because he had that name, Christopher Brown, you know? He was just a genuine, overall sweet kid, great smile, and loved to dance, loved basketball. And he even got into computers, rapping. So he liked the music, you know, definitely that. But he was just a genius when it came to games and, you know, beating like, I don't know if anybody remember playing the PlayStation game called God of War. But at the age of 2, he beat the whole entire game. And people was like, that little boy, you know, beat that game. That's a grown-up game for one. But that's how determined he was into just electronics and understanding how they work. And again, he just, you know, he was a master with games, but he loved his basketball and he definitely loved to dance. He was the life of the party. That was Christopher.
And tell me a little bit about Christopher's family. Like, tell me about the family. How many brothers, sisters? What kind of family do you have?
Well, Robert, right now, you know, I'm at my home, so you're going to hear a little bit. I was trying to be mute.
You're fine.
But he has 4 other siblings, and he has a stepsister. So he was the oldest of my 5 boys. So, yep. And he has plenty of cousins, and you know, he also, of course, has his son, his 2-year-old son, that he left behind. But we are going to take care of him.
Say it again.
So I said we're going to take care of him and love him, spoil him, of course. But yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Zaire. I call him Snoopy for short.
Snoopy?
I call him Snoopy ever since one day I seen him with this type of, it was a Snoopy doll, but it was unlimited. So it was like kind of colorful. A limited, you know, edition, you know, for the little collection of Snoopy. And I just said, Snoopy. And he just looked at me and smiled. And I'm like, it's so cute. We have a picture with Poppy holding the Snoopy and holding his son. So it was just for me as a parent looking at my son being young, you know, 15 years old. But, you know, with a child, it's just something that he may not be here to do now, but I'm sure he would want to do. But yes, it just, you know, have like a moment for me because I remember being young, you know, as a parent, 15 years old, and having Christopher. So yeah.
And so what do you think Christopher's siblings would, if I was to say, give me one word that describes your brother, what word do you think that they would say?
To be honest with you, I probably just, to describe him, he just loved to dance. That's how everyone knew him. And it's funny because Robert, again, his brother, he loves to dance. So that same energy is in Robert now. And Poppy was just his like bigger brother dancing around him, but Robert always had that same energy and had that same gift of dancing. So it's kind of funny you say that because like how everyone would know Christopher dancing, they would know Robert dancing, you know, and that's just them two. But definitely that's what I would think they would say is like, you know, he was just a great dancer with a beautiful smile, a smile that you would never forget.
Do you any particular song type or particular song that
Chris Brown, that's him. Chris Brown songs. What else was it? The Nene song. What's the what's that? Just Soldier Boy. Dance to his records. The Nene and his other group. He had a musical group. You would not believe it, but if you look it up, it's called Mindless Behavior. And Christopher went to that concert with his grandmother. He begged, and she made sure that happened. And Christopher was dancing in the row, you know, like, you know, dancing. And he also has a YouTube. video of him dancing to that song. And they was like, come on up here, come on up here. But he's so shy. He didn't go. And when I found that out coming home, and I'm like, he didn't get up on that stage. They was like, girl, he didn't get up on that stage. I'm like, wow, boys, that's your dream. Just like basketball, he actually was in a, it was like a youth program with the government. And they saw him play. It was like, yo, we making him number one. Like, you know, we're going to have a scholarship for you, young boy. But things happen. But yeah, he's a real gifted, talented young man.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind talking about the day that this all happened?
I could talk about it, you know.
Just whatever you feel comfortable with. Tell us tell us what you remember or what you want to share with us on that about that day.
Well, I'm moving around for a second. Here's a little moment.
Take your time.
Okay. Alrighty. So on that day of the incident, I could actually remember myself just hearing a lot of chaos in my apartment building. You know, they were like just a lot of groups of people, you know, and I just like, what's going on? Are they fighting? But long story short, I did decide to check my phone, and my mother, it was missed calls from her, and she was telling me that someone had shot Christopher. And when that happened, I'm just like, what? And she's like, you know, crying and just like, you know, someone came in, one of his friends, went to a party and they shot him. Like they shot him. I'm just like, that's crazy. I call myself literally, you know, not trying to, you know, be all crazy minded and whatnot, but I literally just had to call, try to get a ride because I don't drive. So I had to try to get a ride. I had to try to see my baby at. And I won't forget actually calling 911, to be honest, and hearing the operator say that we had over 200 calls about this complaint of this block party. I didn't know nothing about it, you know. I remember hearing about him going to a block party, but I didn't think like it was the block party, like something they always have, for what I'm understanding now, every year, you know. So I never knew because I lived on 36, so I never knew. So anyway, when I heard that, I said over 200 calls of this event supposed to be like complaints of people saying, hey, can you have police officers come out? Hey, can you shut this party down? People are trying to sleep. You guys go to work. It was crazy. And only thing I wanted to ask her was, where was my, I'm sorry,
Okay.
where was my, you know, where was maybe possibility of people were taken to, you know, when they're getting shot? And she told me to check this hospital, check that hospital. Long story short, I called different hospitals only to hear that I would probably have to come up there and find out on my own. Like, they don't know. I did get a ride that night, and I went to the hospital, and come to find out it was at PG. And when I got there, it was crazy because I'm up there with one of my female friends, I would say, which is Christopher's godmother. And she's just like, hey, you know, tell them maybe what Poppy was wearing. I said, Poppy always wear layers of clothes. So also when the doctor was kind of like, not the doctor, I'm sorry, but the assistant nurse, sorry, was describing him like layers of clothes. I'm like, yeah. And then it went to, do you think he has a tattoo on his neck? To be honest with you, I could not remember. I was like, I think so. I think so. I don't know. Then it hit me to call my mother. And when I called my mother, Robert was there. Because Robert had went that weekend to my mother's house. And Robert first thing was like, yep. And it says Mike. And the lady was like, you know, it does say Mike. And my son, Robert, was like, responding, yep. It says Mike. And I'm just like, you know, well, we have him, but we can't give you more information about him. You have to wait. I'm just like, okay, you know. So I waited for the detective to come. By the time the detective came, after, you know, a little while, they put me in a room, of course, and they talked to me. And long story short, just hearing those words, you know, Christopher Brown didn't make it. You know, it was a lot. It was a lot to process. I just literally cried. My mother-in-law at the time was there, and she just, you know, helped me come out the room. But to literally see, I would say, to experience like people in a room and everybody's just waiting for it's like it's that Christopher, you know, and the detectives passing the phone back and looking at the picture, you know how it is, and it's just like I'm just waiting, you know. And I'm in the family room and I'm just sitting and waiting. And then, like I said, I hear those words. I just don't know what to do. I try to control myself still because it was families outside that night. It was families at different hospitals trying to look for, you know, their kid or whoever, you know, they was hearing about it. And only to hear that my son was killed. You know, it was just a lot. I did not see my son. I just left out the hospital. And of course, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning by that point. I had to go to my mom's house who was waiting all night. And I had to wake her up because she did doze off. Matter of fact, I had to, you know, wake her up and tell her the news. It was real devastating to hear her break down. I had like try to stay strong for her, try to stay strong for my other son that was there to hear the words. But not only that, Robert, just to say this, because a lot of families, I mean, a lot of people don't know that families go through it like crazy when there's death, you know, in their family. But siblings, to me, kind of take it much deeper, you know. And Robert had to see, you know, Instagram videos of, you know, the block party and Christopher right there on the ground and people around him saying his name. You know, as a 9-year-old at the time, and my son has mental health issues, I didn't know how he would process it, you know, and I did not want to be in that room to tell my family members, and my stepfather who like fell down, you know, was like, oh my God, no, and everyone's screaming in the household. It's just crazy because I always see it on TV. You see it on TV, but to experience it, it's a total different scenario. To have your baby gone is a total different scenario. And I tell people all the time, it's unreal. Every day I have to wake up, I have to know that my child's not here. And to experience that night again, I would never, ever, ever want to have anyone experience that because it's so scary. And it's like a nightmare over and over in your head that's been played with the name of your child that did not make it, you know? And then to hear the story, because I never went to sleep. So of course it's morning time. To have a reporter some blocks away at that scene, I have to go down there and just say a few words. You know, it was just crazy because to hear 21 plus people that were shot and over 450 people that were at this event, it's just like mind boggling me. How at this time of COVID did our city allow this to happen? Did police officers sit around and allow this to happen? I don't understand it. My son attended that party more than likely because it was only blocks away from his home. Anybody go to 36 and go to Dubois, it's literally blocks away. 17-year-old kid, around that time, my son never went to any block parties, never went to most parties, you know. And I know if COVID did not, you know, have the restrictions of recreations and, you know, libraries and would not close down and curfews being set, these children would have went other places. You know what I mean? They would have definitely went into the basketball gym and played basketball, or to the library and read books, because Christopher was one of them kids. He would definitely went to play basketball at Minnesota Rec. You know, people remember him coming up there and play basketball. So again, to have, you know, that being restricted from Christopher, it's like, you know, if COVID would have not been around, or if the city would have opened up some of those, you know, facilities, the children would have just went there. And they would have been tired, I would say, and then took their butt to bed. But we always bored, you know, and I mean, 450 people, it could tell you they always bored, you know, and they all want to have some type of light at the party. But it was not a good idea to me to allow that, you know, in the city at all. And it cost people pain. It cost people, you know, I think just like a nightmare. You know, I talked to people who did not actually get shot, but just to hear them say I was there to kind of like, you know, be in that area. And mentally they just messed up. Like I was hearing someone tell me who was coming to get me as an adult. She was like, you know, the children just sat there in the corner, was like, yo, I don't want to live no more because such and such, you know, was getting shot at, or such and such was there at the event. I don't know if they made it. You see what I'm saying? You know, and then when Christopher did pass, it was hard at the funeral because so many young people came to the funeral. And if anybody was there at the funeral, I swear to God, I went to church most of my life. And to see the youth come to the front, most of the crowd go to the front, but to see the youth come to the front and they're asking for help. They want the help, but we don't have the resources, and we still don't help them. You know what I mean? It hurts me when I sat there and see my son in the casket. It still hurt me because I'm like, these kids are gonna be bothered by this. You know what I mean? They're really gonna be bothered by this mentally. And again, I have to definitely hold myself together for my mom. I have to hold myself together for my kids. But anybody, like I said, who knew Christopher, they would have just knew that he was a beautiful, bright, talented, gifted young man. He was a beginner dad. I mean, that's like a highlighted point to me, because a lot of people say, you know, as these Black young men grow up, where's your dad? Where's your dad? Well, guess what? He had no choice. You know what I mean? My grandson father had no choice. You know what I mean? His life was taken. You know, that hurts me, you know, because I saw the proudness of him being a youth and being a father. It's, you know, beginning holding a bottle. Like just seeing it over and over. I'm looking at the picture now that I was telling you about with Snoopy and my grandson. It's just like, look at the picture, like literally, it's just, you know, he's a new dad. You don't know how to, you know, probably hold him too much, but he got it, you know, he got it together. You know, this is 15-year-old, you know, at the time, a new dad. Can you imagine? You can't.
I can't show you, but I have chills all over me. Thank you for sharing that.
I sleep with him around me. It's a little messy, but I literally, you know, sleep with my son around me. Like the room is pretty much Christopher. Some more pictures over there, but it's pretty much like in gun violence. There you go. You know, I just have to have him, and he is not at all being buried. ever being buried. He will be right here with me. The world has enough issues, and my baby don't need to be sitting here while they still going on, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a year later.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on where everything stands with
What's going on, sir, with everything? I look at it as we want to press an issue, and I have talked to the detectives throughout this year, you know, but I let them do their work. You know, I don't want to be too much in questioning, I guess, and too much in like angriness, because to my opinion, I just need them to do their work. That's just how I'm looking at it as a parent. I want you to do your work. I want you to do it right, get the right evidence, however. So when you come back to me, I know it's right. You know, I know it's right. And I tell a lot of people, you know, don't rush things. You know what I mean? Let it kind of flow. It's going to eventually turn out the way you want it to turn out. And I believe in God, and I pray, and I definitely think that, you know, I will get justice. You know, I definitely will get justice. But more importantly, Christopher legacy will continue to move on. He will be remembered as, you know, that wonderful kid in the neighborhood that was life that was taken, innocent life that was taken. And again, you know, he had a future, and it was just his time. And if everyone went to the candlelight vigil that night, they will remember the rainbow that just brightly popped out of nowhere. And my mother happened to look up and say, "That's the rainbow, look." And I said, "Well, that's a sign." Because one is the rainbow, but anybody know me? I love the rainbow, I love colors. So tell everybody, that's it. Poppy definitely showed me a sign, because that's his nickname. So I said, Poppy always showed me a sign. And he did. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't rush it. I'm just gonna let the detectives do their job, and see where we go from there.
It seems that there's I don't want to say a club or a group now that seems to be growing of parents and moms, and have you been a form of support for other parents who have lost, or have anybody reached out to to you to help support them?
Um, they have recently started. Yes, we did a brunch last month for mothers who have lost their children or loved ones that came together because we're trying to figure out ways to properly heal. You know what I mean? And help others, like you're saying, to heal. So yes, I have sat with other mothers and organizations. And what else is it? I can't think of the name. Mom Safe Haven. I think it's another organization, if I'm saying it right. They also are doing a healing little, few days of this month where they go and they, as they've said, just come on out there and they take care of what they can. But of course, they will like donations and things to help the families and the kids to do the activities that are there. I'm sorry, for the time that they are there, the 2 or 3 days to kind of like have the mothers, like you said, healing and everyone else come together to try to heal. So yeah.
So there was 400 people there that night. Seems to be like a lot of people that might have seen something, heard something, might know something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a message to anybody that may know something but yet is maybe afraid to come forward or share what they know? Or
I definitely want them to come forward and share with anything, any little small information that they may know or have, let's say, to the police, because it could definitely help us heal as family members when we have people to come up, because I know some people take it as, they're afraid or they feel like they're snitching or however. It's not. I mean, at this point in time, the day that we live in, I feel like enough is enough. Our babies are being murdered for no reasons, and I just feel like we need to stand up and we need to, say what happened, and it's not snitching. So I definitely feel like they could just come forward however they come discreetly, but they need to do that to help close cases to hurting families, to hurting, mothers who do have to go through this every day, every second to wake up knowing that, their child is no longer on earth, but of course in our hearts.
I know Chief Conti just recently engaged in some back and forth at one of the recent safety meetings, and he was talking about the culture of snitching here in DC, and how that plays such a significant role in their being to close a lot of cases. I think that do you think that the district does a good enough job to describe what resources are out there for people who might be afraid to come forward? And there's also a reward, right, for any information that may lead to the apprehension of whoever did this, right?
Hello.
Yep, I see you. Well, you're frozen on me.
You might have to.
Oh, there you are. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm about to say you might have to repeat yourself. Yeah, just repeat yourself. It's kind of breaking up. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just saying, my understanding is that there's also a reward out there that makes it available for people who help in the apprehension and conviction of somebody who has killed someone. Do you think that the district does a good enough job in describing that and letting people know about that? Do you think that people know about that? And do you think that helps?
Can I say it helps? It can. I mean, we gotta try it. How you doing? But I would really say I believe that there's other ways that we could go about it besides always a reward. But if that's going to help, solve some of these cases, then who am I to say?
And I'll just take another minute or two time. What is missing here? What what is it that we can do better as a community, as neighbors, to help prevent this type of thing from happening? What's missing?
I think the community, they definitely need to come together. They see things in our community that's not right, and they need to say something. And I believe when they do, some of them are actually targeted. I have seen that. But I feel like we just need to stand up, kind of like better together as a community. And when they see us keep constantly coming as a community, they'll get tired of the same people. If they're just in our community just to walk around and like, yeah, we're making sure nobody's happening right here. They're like, man, why do people keep coming back? But I just feel like something gotta get done. We just can't basically give up. Let's say that we basically cannot give up. Whatever options that are out there, we need to keep trying because we can't give up. Our child, to me, what's her name, Naya, the 6-year-old. I walked from the big chair to the actual incident. And I ain't gonna lie, me, Tom, I'm a little overweight. My son was like, girl, you coming in last place. I told my son, Robert, I said, look, I'm gonna come in last. But guess what? I ain't give up. My son did not give up. I'm sure of it on that ground to get back to me. And I'm not gonna give up. And that's how I look at it. We just cannot give up.
This incident last year injured 21 people.
They just don't have the right number, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's that?
It's more than 21 people, but go ahead.
Okay. 21 or 29, or it was the largest mass shooting incident in the entire United States last year. Mm-hmm. Had this been like a school or a group or somewhere outside of Southeast DC, there'd be throngs of media. And why do you think that it didn't get the same response?
To be honest with you, I don't know why. I think because if I had to think of anything, it would more be accountability. They don't want to take accountability of their own wrong and what they did. Because again, come on now, we all know police officers was out there, correct?
Yeah.
They allowed that to go on. They allowed that block party to continue on and on and on for hours. They seen what was going on. So, and then not just that, they were notified by email, from my understanding, some days or a week, I believe, in advance. But I know it was like at least 4 days in advance about this incident that was trying to take place, but without the proper steps, and that was to get the permit. A man that tried twice to get a permit and was not able to, but still went on with the block party. I felt like they don't want to take accountability of their wrong, their knowing. And that's about it. That's all I could think of.
Look, I have had the pleasure and the honor of getting to know you over the last course of the year. Yes. And every time I speak to you, I find you to be such an amazing, strong woman. Where does it come from?
People say it all the time, Tom. Y'all be seeing the outer shell of an M&M. That's how I see it. We are hard outside, but inside we just as chewy. We're melting away because, honestly speaking, one, I believe it just comes from my faith with God. But secondly, I just have to, like I say, stay strong for my boys. I cannot see them fall. And I have to definitely stay strong for my other families, like my mom, my brother, my sisters. So it may seem like I'm strong. I try to be strong for other mothers too. So, but honestly speaking, every one of us, even the strongest, have our moments. Just know that.
And so you've got Christopher Brown's foundation, and you got some things
trying to. Yeah, I'm definitely still trying to get that going on. I mean, this year was busy, and I'm trying to definitely get that going on with this organization, Christopher Brown Heartbeats. And I'm trying to just do things to keep his legacy in the community. A lot of people may not know him, but like I tell people all the time, he's just an innocent Black king, their life was taken, and this all could have been prevented. And lives of other youth and family members and even the world, someone that I literally got in a car with, they heard about the story and they just was like devastated. And they're just like, I'm sorry for your loss. I just cannot imagine, so I can see it on their face, like they're hurt. And I'm like, and I'm just like, I'm the mom, but I could just, it's not about that. It's just that people just are like, they could just feel the pain that we all are going through. So like, even with you, I know this has really affected you, just constantly story after story, whether it was Christopher's story or, another young person's story, but it's nothing that it's not normal for us in America. It's not normal for everyone to just constantly getting shot at, kids are getting shot at, babies on the corners getting shot at. It's just not normal. And I just think that,
Is that part of the
we got
problem?
to do something about.
Is that part of the problem that it's almost becoming normal? Like it's almost like every day, and do we get desensitized by it?
Well, I think some of us do, but you can't be. It be like that for the ones, to me, who not experience the loss. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God, just like another one. Oh my God, enough. So you know what? Turn off the news. But it's like we feel like that way too, and sometimes it's like, but I'm just saying, like, we can't just ignore it somehow to try to say it. Like, we can't ignore it because it's still pain that we feel. So, prime example, like I said, the young little boy, Carmelo, mm-hmm. that brought me so far back with Poppy and then a baby. I was just like, oh my gosh, a baby. And I literally just put the phone down, but I literally was just like, having my moments to myself, but it wasn't normal. I'm like, it's still not normal. I don't care how some people just feel like, oh, they're desensitized from it. I still feel like, they have feelings until, they have feelings until it comes to their door like that. They're going to have that feeling when it comes to their door. Hmm. Yeah.
You have a one way that you're gonna remember Christopher is through a back to school drive. Tell me a little bit about that.
So yes, we're trying to do, of course, it's just pretty much bring the community back together where that tragic incident occurred at, that a lot of people won't forget. But I'm hoping that people remember now just a twist of light, a little joy moment of, you know what, this year we have a back to school event. We have the community coming out, and this is how we're going to remember this young king. We're going to remember this, life that could have been here. And at the same token, through his son that will be there, just show him love, show our community love. And, let them know that this is, like you said, not normal. We need to do more good things in our community and keep that going and let that be normal than the opposite of just shooting and going to a funeral and having a candlelight vigil. Because to me, that's not normal. And I have not even been to a candlelight vigil since I can remember in my life, like seriously. But I had to attend my own son's candlelight vigil and then my son's funeral. But that's what we're planning on doing, just giving back to the community, bring them together, and just try to keep his legacy going.
So how can people help? What if there was some way that if you're trying to launch a foundation, do you need mm-hmm. help? Is there's an attorney in the community or somebody that can help you with helping to launch? How can our community help you and helping to keep Christopher's memory in the forefront?
Well, I'm speaking. The connections. Connecting me with the best resources so I can get that started. I believe I'm hearing like you should set up a website, so people could read about Christopher's, Brown and his story and understand what happened and now why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? So I did hear that. That's a good thing. So I feel like we can start there. What else is it? I kind of got lost with the lights.
What's the name of what would the name of the foundation be?
Oh, the upcoming foundation, we do have our logo. So that's the shirt that you did get. And that was Christopher Brown Heartbeats. So on one side, it has an image of Christopher head. The little hairstyle he always wear, like the little puffy head. And then you see the letter B in the cheekbone, which stands for the beats for his heart. And then, of course, the other side is shaped as a heart, but it's a basketball because that's something he loved doing. That was in his heart. He actually loved basketball. Of course, we couldn't do the dancing part of the time, but we just wanted to stick with one thing at the moment. And that's what brought out Christopher Brown Heartbeats. And then I think you also see the little, what's the little, what's the thing on your ears? The headphones over his ears because he loved, again, listening to music. So Christopher Brown Heartbeats.
Well, I have my hands in a lot of different things. I have done some website design, but I'm going to commit to you that I'm going to look to see if that is available, which I'm sure it is. And I'm going to secure it for you so that we can get you a website up and going and getting a description of Christopher up onto a website and his story and his face and whatever else you want to share. I'm going to commit to make sure that happens.
Yeah, definitely.